Welcome to Storytime. Get ready, navigate for quick wisdom of countless stories. Let's dive into the world of knowledge together and explore. The story, Lust, Caution, takes place in Shanghai during World War II. It tells the tale of Wang Jiazhi, a young lady lured into a risky game of love and criminal activity. The story is told in great detail, giving viewers a clear image of the complex web Jiazhi crafts as she approaches Mr. Yi's inner circle, an important and shadowy political player. Her goal is a high-stakes killing scheme combining dishonesty, danger, and feeling that is covered up in darkness. The story skillfully talks about each aspect of lying, love, and loyalty while concealing the differences between lying and truth. Jiazhi's mixed feelings as she fights with her responsibilities and her growing attraction for Yi are expertly balanced by Eileen Chang's lovely writing. The story's drawing appeal comes from its dramatic depiction of individuals caught in an environment of danger where love and danger mix. Readers are drawn into a world where there are major stakes, strong feelings, and an enveloping sense of ethics and morals surrounded by Chang's masterful writing. The captivating tale, Lust, Caution, keeps readers fascinated long after the last page, showing Chang's skill at creating an excellent novel that is full of unknown passion and the dark price of ambition during a time of war. Lust, Caution presents a compelling dance between the main players in the midst of war-torn Shanghai, where every move comes with danger. With her skill at storytelling, Eileen Chang creates a world in which desire and dishonesty exist together, producing a tense and deeply felt environment. The story's attractive qualities are found in its examination of human messages and sacrifices made in the name of duty, as well as in its difficult criminal activity plot. The story comes to life via Chang's beautiful words as a haunting symphony of romance, peril, and the strange implications of decisions made in the bloody heat of wartime Shanghai. Chapter 1, Shanghai's Seductive Veil. Wang Jiazhi arrived at the attractive attraction of busy Shanghai, where whispers of war mixed with the city's bright energy. The streets were alive with activity, and the windows of old buildings were beautifully lit up by neon lights. In the middle of this amazing disorder, a young woman with a mission buried beneath her beautiful exterior, Jiazhi set out on her adventure. Her senses were overpowered by the perfume of spices and the faint sound of traditional tunes as she made her way through the packed passageways. Her heartbeat showed up to be in time with the cities, and every step she took drew her further into its complex embrace. But beneath the surface of an attentive newcomer, there was a woman hiding secrets and getting ready to walk the treacherous methods of treachery and treachery. Behind the noisy marketplace and whispers of political protests, only Jiazhi and the people she stood for understood the actual nature of her mission. A well-thought-out plan sprang to life with her arrival, a scheme to link her future with that of the strange Mr. Yi, a man whose shadow looked over the dark streets of the city. As time passed, the city's attractive veil exposed itself more and more as both a friend and a deadly maze, and Jiazhi's journey was thoughtfully planned. Jiazhi felt the weight of her covert mission even in the middle of the city's beauty. Her footsteps, appearing innocent in the busy streets, bore the weight of a mission demanding effort and discretion. Shanghai's nightlife, with its bright tapestry, masked the shadows of intelligence and hidden objectives. Beneath the outward appearance of her arrival, there was a determined woman bracing herself for the complex dance of dishonesty and danger that lay ahead, a dance in which every smile reflected an unexplained motive and every whispered chat carried the risk of treachery. Shanghai's encouraging beauty became her covering and her challenge as the night drew deeper, drawing her more into a society where treachery and loyalty went hand in hand. Chapter 2, The Intricacies of Deception. Wang Jiazhi began tying the fine threads of dishonesty in Shanghai's twisty passageways. Her days turned into a carefully planned performance, with every move planned to hide her real motivations and get her closer to Mr. Yi's inner circle. Jiazhi, her observations sharp and her questions planned, carefully collected data under the clothes of a small young woman requesting to discover the cultural gems of the city. She moved beautifully in social circles, her charm acting as a cover to hide the steely determination beneath. Jiazhi developed her observing abilities in private meetings and behind closed doors. She learned how to differentiate between true commitments and covert objectives as she discovered the specifics of power relations. Her covert notes in notebooks proved her involvement in the underground society she encountered. The complexity of Jiazhi's dishonesty became greater as the days went into nights and she established herself as a well-known figure in the city's wealthy circles. Every exchange, every smile, every observation she chose with care became a single stroke in the painting of her perfectly painted personality. However, Jiazhi struggled with taking care of her two lives under her appearance and the complexities of her undercover task. She began to doubt where the limits of her commitment actually rested as the distinction between her imagined identity and her actual self became more hazy. Through this complex game of fraud, Jiazhi discovered that getting into Mr. Yi's inner circle required more than just charm and secrecy. It also required a level of deception skill that stretched the boundaries of her conviction and devotion. Chapter 3, Masquerade of Affections. Wang Jiazhi's mask of affections turned into a complex web of opposing emotions as she dug farther into her covert objective. Her encounters with Mr. Yi, which had first been planned steps in her difficult plan, started producing unexpected feelings from her. Among whispers of treachery and the shadowy world she crossed, Jiazhi couldn't help but be pulled to the strange Mr. Yi. The man was magnetic, every move he made, every word he spoke, cast a spell that deceived most keen observers. Jiazhi tried to keep up the appearance of indifference, torn between her loyalty to her mission and the sudden outpouring of true love. She was torn between duty and her own feelings as the difference between her projected feelings and the actuality of her feelings became cloudy. Among covering up and dishonesty, she attempted to catch pictures of aspects of Mr. Yi that went against his image as an elected official. These little moments of affection and weakness pulled at her the emotions, making her goal less clear and confusing her determination. The love turned into a complex dance in which every look disclosed a secret and every touch reflected the struggle of her opposing devotions. Jiazhi became more and more involved in her job, a maze of emotions that could harm the very task she had been born to do. Wang Jiazhi, in the center of this complex dance of duty and desire, was struggling with the conflict of her own feelings. Every meeting with Mr. Yi took her one step closer to the foundation of her mission and one step further into the unknown realm of true love. The costume she carried, which had served as a safeguard against danger, now covered the distinction between her assigned role and the real woman concealed behind it. As she went deeper into the heart of her feelings, the mask of affections threatened to tear apart the very fabric of her carefully created lying, leaving her perched on just shy of a precipice where love and loyalty smashed in a harmful embrace. Chapter 4, Entangled Desires. Wang Jiazhi was pulled into a web of clashing ambitions within the shadowy world of Shanghai's drama. Her goal, which was earlier a carefully planned project, was now complicated by her growing feelings for Mr. Yi. The attraction between Jiazhi and Mr. Yi grew stronger, their conversations full with unspoken tension and mutual respect that went past what they took on. When their paths intertwined in the dark halls of position of power, Jiazhi found it difficult to balance her responsibility with the growing emotions that went against the terms of her covert assignment. Wang Jiazhi was pulled into a web of clashing ambitions within the shadowy world of Shanghai's drama. Her goal, which was earlier a carefully planned project, was now complicated by her growing feelings for Mr. Yi. The attraction between Jiazhi and Mr. Yi grew stronger, their conversations full with unspoken tension and mutual respect that went past what they took on. When their paths intertwined in the dark halls of position of power, Jiazhi found it difficult to balance her responsibility with the growing emotions that went against the terms of her covert assignment. During brief, sensitive times, under the stage of their planned interactions, Jiazhi saw aspects of Mr. Yi that mirrored feelings she contained for him. Their relationship, which was laced with danger and secret need, developed into a complex web of restraint and desire, with each thread expressing a story of secret feelings. Jiazhi caught up in a confusing web of competing wants among the dangerous game of intelligence and the attraction of her mission's accomplishment. Her well-planned seductions mixed into the real movements of her own heart, sending her free in a sea of feelings that could destroy the organized plan she was supposed to carry out. Wang Jiazhi felt her opposing feelings growing deeper by the second in the complex dance of linked desires. Her heart hit in time with the irregular matches of devotion and love, which it had previously concealed below the mask of her private identity. The closer she became to Mr. Yi, the more the strands of her mission-focused devotion linked themselves hopelessly with the connections of a covert relationship. She was left hanging in the right balance where the demands of her loyalties and her heart's desires met in a storm of uncertainty, the call of contact combining with the cold facts of her mission. Chapter 5, A Dance of Secrets. Within the covert realm of espionage, Wang Jiazhi became caught in an exciting yet dangerous game of secrets. Her relationships with Mr. Yi grew closer, and the complex timeline of their secret meetings developed into a composition of secrets and treachery. Jiazhi and Mr. Yi constructed a complex weaving of secret meanings and unwritten agreements with every word, every glance, and every calmed disagreement. Their exchanges became into a dance of specifics, with gestures covering hidden meanings and words with several levels of translation. Jiazhi developed her ability to discern different types of dishonesty in this dance of secrets. In a society where trust was an in short supply and costly tool, she learned to play the delicate dance of intrigue and distinguish between false links and real intentions. Jiazhi was intrigued by the hidden dance she performed with Mr. Yi as the stakes increased and the complexity of their covert relationship became more complex. With every elegant stride she took in this dance of secrets, she moved closer and closer to the place where appearances and reality mixed together, making it harder to distinguish between what she thought she was and the woman lost in the complexities of her own needs. Wang Jiazhi showed an even greater understanding of the complex covert procedures in this dance of secrets. Every secret meeting with Mr. Yi turned into a fine balancing act between the attraction of unsaid feelings and the weight of concealed motives. Jiazhi found herself through a maze of confusion as their covert ballet went on, her actions directed by the unchanging call of duty and whispers in her heart. Once a tool to achieve a goal, the dance has evolved into a fascinating dance between truth and lying, leaving Jiazhi on the brink of a discovery that could change the path of her mission and even her own fate. Chapter 6, Unraveling Alliances. Wang Jiazhi saw relationships slowly fall apart inside the complex web of Shanghai's inner circles. Her mission's steady prayer and covert allegiances started to break down, creating questions about the foundation of trust she had carefully built. A growing undertone of deceit was obvious, and there were whispers in the shadows suggesting changing relationships. Jiazhi was forced to deal with a dangerous environment where the difference between friend and opponent was unclear and truth was precious. Jiazhi could feel the slight sound of treachery behind the surface of friendship as she walked the circles of power. She had to differentiate between people who were true allies and those whose opinions were concealed under dishonesty, which tested her keen observations and smart decisions. Jiazhi was thrust farther into an unreliable and risky world by breaking friendships. She became aware that the foundation of her mission was in danger, threatening to come apart due to opposing views and covert goals, as she saw trust break down and positions change. Jiazhi stood on a point in this world of nervous relationships, her feelings focusing as she readied herself to face the stormy seas of treachery that lay ahead. As Wang Jiazhi's friendships became more nervous, she was enveloped in an ocean of mistrust and suspicion. The ties that had kept her safely in place throughout the complex web of spies suddenly appeared weak, as though they would break under the pressure of hidden objectives and secret plans. Moment by moment, the fog of confusion grew deeper, and she had to deal with an environment of shifting connections in which each ally looked to have the potential to become an opponent. Jiazhi prepared herself for the turbulent storms ahead amid the confusion of falling relationships, knowing that how this dangerous circumstance was resolved could affect not only the outcome of her mission but also the very nature of her own being. Chapter 7, Heartstrings and Betrayals. Wang Jiazhi felt the tension between the tight strings of her heart and the dark shadow of treachery in the heart of Shanghai's underground society. A complex dance of feelings and duties approached a fever level as the weak bond she created fought with the growing danger of dishonesty. Her growing feelings for Mr. Yi mixed with the frightening whispers of approaching treachery in the complex web of spy. The stormy echoes of affection related the emotions that bound her to her mission, causing a storm that she could not control. Jiazhi struggled with the hard reality of trust dissolving on a knife edge as confusion grew and partnerships became weak. She was caught between the yearnings of her heart and the solid commitment to her covert purpose, her delicate emotions and her growing sense of treachery battling strongly. The coming betrayals pulled heavily, promising to break the delicate bonds she had carefully established. Every heartbeat rang hollow, every loving thought disagreed with the lurking shadow of dishonesty. Jiazhi stood at the crossroads of emotions and treachery amid an explosion of opposing emotions, her determination stretched in the face of an approaching storm that could destroy not only her mission but the very soul of her being. Wang Jiazhi felt the pressure of an approaching storm building in the maze of treachery and broken hearts. She stood on a precipice where the meanings of betrayal and trust blurred into an unclear haze, her fragile emotional embroidery clashing strongly against the impending prospect of treachery. Jiazhi found herself at a crossroads where the strands of her loyalty and the echoes of her love interconnected, pointing her towards an unclear and dangerous future as the seriousness of the situation increased. Chapter 8: The Point of No Return. Within Shanghai's stormy world of covert activities, Wang Jiazhi discovered herself balanced on the edge of forever. She'd reached a turning point in the journey when decisions she made would have far-reaching effects due to the complex web of treachery, conflicting feelings, and damaged relationships. The air was alive with suspicion and tension, and Jiazhi could feel the pressure of decisions she had to make quickly. She entered a world where each step she took forward would forever lead her towards an unknown future because of the delicate balance she had established between her dedication to the goal and the continuous pull of her heartstrings. Jiazhi positioned herself for a turning point that would determine the course of her future in this heater of uncertainty. Standing on the edge of final death, ready to jump into the unknown darkness that waited beyond the point of no return, confused the lines between loyalty and treachery. Wang Jiazhi stood in the midst of a storm of opposing feelings and coming decisions at the point of no return. Her decisions pulled heavily on her, and every breath served as a warning of the inflexible course she was going to take. She positioned herself for the critical moment that would signal the last shift in her fate as the sounds of her emotions mixed with the coming shadows of treachery. Jiazhi, knowing that beyond this edge lied a future formed by the permanent events about to unfold, prepared to embrace the unknown with resolution formed from the oven of doubt and determination created in the fires of ambiguity. Chapter 9: Echoes of Choices Made. Following the key choices taken at the brink of unresolved, Wang Jiazhi learned that the effects of her decisions remained with her. The effects echoed with a weight that carried the imprint of immortality, weaving themselves into the varied fabric of her life. Her choices followed her every move, and every second was colored with the eerie specters of consequence. The effects of her deeds echoed down Shanghai's underpaths, forever changing both her objective and her own spirit. Jiazhi struggled with the effects from her last opinions as they reverberated throughout the city. The continuous echoes of betrayal and commitment blended together to create a complex story that followed her everywhere and broke apart with the obvious reality of the punishments she would face. Wang Jiazhi stood at a turning point in her destiny, the decisions she had made echoing back to her, casting a long, menacing shadow over the path she had walked. She got ready herself for the continuous echoes that would continue determining her fate in this strange silence. Wang Jiazhi felt the weight of consequence heavy in the air as the ripple effects of her decisions created a deadly silence. Her decisions had cast a pall over her surroundings, leaving her to contend with the resonances of treachery and love that affected her life. She battled a certain fact that each echo carried the weight of a future shaped by the hard path she had chosen, matching through the ages and leaving a lasting mark that would cross the limits of the present moment, in this never-ending quiet. Chapter 10: The Resonance of Resilience. After making decisions that were repeated, Wang Jiazhi found a surprising amount of inner power. She took comfort in the strength created from challenges as the effects of her choices continued to reverberate, forming her resolve into a shield against the strange echoes all around her. Jiazhi discovered a resolute will to face the effects with unshakable commitment within the shadow of responsibility. The echoes that had appeared crushing at first were now a source of strength for her, driving her forwards with unwavering determination. She enjoyed the sound of her newly discovered strength with every firm step, resolved to forge forth in spite of the shadows of the past. The effects of her decisions became echoes of strength, announcing a shift in her, a proof of the recovery that flourished in the wake of resounding choices. Wang Jiazhi discovered the power to face the unknowns of the future in the resonance of resilience, knowing that she has a strength to bear the consequences of her previous decisions and create her future. At the end of her difficult trip, Wang Jiazhi stood poised and prepared to face the unknown ahead, her resilience having returned. Her earlier decisions, however difficult and uncomfortable at the time, now inspired her of the strength she had discovered within herself. Carrying the echoes of lessons learnt and the enduring courage built through difficulties, she pushed forward and took one last look back at the maze-like channels of treachery and passion. Her footsteps carried a calm strength as she crossed the unknown, a sign of the unshakable determination that would lead her through whatever difficulties were beyond the shadows of her past. Key learnings. Lust, caution, deftly connects an arrangement of important lessons against the stormy background of spy and mixed emotions. The nuanced dance between commitment and desire offers a profound lesson about the complexity of human nature in the face of opposing loyalties. The narrative stresses the delicate relationship that exists between allegiance and personal desire, pointing out the natural challenge of combining responsibilities and emotional desires in circumstances where choices made in the face of uncertainty have far-reaching effects. The story additionally shows the power of courage to evolve in the face of difficulty. The path of Wang Jiazhi is an example of the recovery that arises from the effects of previous decisions. It stresses how strong humans can be, how they can rise above the echoes of uncertainty, and how they can find strength in the wake of decisions made. This flexibility turns into a driving force that helps people go on in the face of the unsettling effects of their past deeds, directing them towards an uncertain but courageous future.
Thanks for tuning in. For more enlightening content and a detailed summary, visit www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Let's inspire and empower each other. Subscribe to our channel and share our videos with your friends and family.